My fault.
Oh, you're good. All righty. And we'll give everybody here just a second to join. Super excited to have this conversation though. So we'll just keep letting everybody come in. Super excited to talk about Protiv, about the partnership that we have with Protiv here at BusyBusy. And again, as we just continue to let people funnel in, want to make sure we give everybody a chance to get loaded in here. And then we'll go ahead and get started. And while we wait for everybody to jump in, just a couple of items before we start. The chat is online, so as we talk through stuff, feel free to drop in questions, comments in the chat, as well as in the Q&A. And on top of that, usually a question we get asked a ton is this being recorded? Will it be sent out? The answer is yes to both of those. So as at the end of this, we will be sending out the recording to everybody. So no worries there, and we'll post it on our website as well. And we've waited a minute now, so we'll go ahead and get started. So super excited to have this conversation with Protiv here on really what we see as a huge deal in terms of looking at the two apps that are going to really improve or change your business from a productivity standpoint from the field. And so a couple of things even just to start is, so we have Michael here from Protiv to have this conversation with us. And we had a couple of questions as we were just talking through this webinar that we thought it would make sense to even just kick out to you guys. So to start the webinar, a couple of questions, and feel free to just drop in the chat Y for yes and for no, but wanted to just know from you guys, like who has wanted to do project-based compensation in the past? So who's wanted to do that, but hasn't yet? Okay, we got Amy saying, yep, that's something they've been wanting to do. What about everybody else? Yes, okay. And we'll keep letting everybody else chat in as well. But second question to that is who has actually tried it in the past, and was it successful? So who's actually tried this out?
Some people have tried piece rate type structures in the past, or some of the bonus programs, that kind of thing, where they want to reward workers for what they got done, gross profit sharing, those kind of things. And always interested in how many people have tried that before.
Yeah, and it looks like we've had, have tried, not the best. Okay, tried manual, but been bogged down. And which is I think where I'll kick it over to you, Michael, because I think that's where you guys are seeing a lot of benefit for this industry, is that you've created the system to help make it not a manual process.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this did start as a manual process even for us. So we're certainly familiar with that, that experience. And first, I just want to thank you, Ryan, for putting this together. It's, we've gotten to know each other a bit the last year, and having this relationship with BusyBusy has been outstanding for us. The mutual customers we have seem to love the program, and just can't say enough about our appreciation for you guys having us here to kind of share some of what we do and how we really feel the two systems together can be really transformational for contractors. You've got hourly workers in the field trying to track how much time they use on the job, where they are, and those job costs. And now in our world, trying to assign their compensation incentives back to that performance. I just think it's a big win that the industry can leverage.
Totally agree.
So I'll share just a little bit of our backstory. I'm going to pull my screen up here so people can see that. This platform we built for our construction company, and we have about 130 employees here in New York City. We do large-scale multifamily renovation work, and we, like many contractors, struggled with making sure guys got done on time, making sure the team was thinking and doing quality work. How do we incentivize them the right way? How do we make sure that they feel part of the family? All those things that we really want from the culture in our organization. The workers often are, hey, need to get a raise. Can I make some more money? And we're always like, oh, can you get more done? It's this constant kind of push and pull of, we need them to be productive, and at the same time, we want to take care of them financially and do the best we can. We started this program in an Excel spreadsheet, just like a lot of the people here, with a target number that we needed the team to hit, and we would track how many hours that they spent, all manually. And then if they beat that, they would earn a bonus. But we grew quite a bit. It was one thing to do that with a few workers. It's another thing to do that with 20, 50, 100 more. And then to do it across more complex projects that, last different lengths of time, with people coming on and off the job, who earns how much. All this just gets complicated. So we built systems and tools around it. And along the way, we learned some things about what really worked and what didn't fix the problem. So what we've developed here in Protiv, we think, is the synthesis of a lot of learning about how to make production pay work in our industries. The solution itself, in an integrated environment with BusyBusy, it is really about moving the time data seamlessly and the project data seamlessly in a way that the workers can understand what their objective is. So it starts in our world with presenting the team in the field with a budget. So we're going to show them the target for the job. How much did you budget in dollars or hours for that work? And if they can see that, and it's simple for them to understand, then they know what their goal is. And we allow them, with our software and what we call a calculator, to estimate how long they think they're going to take to finish the job. So they're able to go in and estimate, we think we can finish it in X hours, and how much of an incentive, how much bonus money can we earn if we beat that budget. So that starts the kind of vehicle of getting them aware of the target, getting them aware of their personal and team incentive for beating that target. Now, the next part is that the time is automatically tracked. One of the best things about this integration with BusyBusy is that through Zapier, all of that time data flows seamlessly to Protiv. So when they're clocking in time in BusyBusy, we know that Bob has spent 2 hours on this project. That's all flowing seamlessly in. And so over the course of a job, we know exactly how much time they've used against the original budget. And therefore, we can project for them what their bonus program is going to look like in terms of dollars in their pocket based on when they're going to finish the job. So it really is, it's the simplicity of operating an incentive system is now it's just beautiful. We have taken away all of that heavy lifting of the calculations and the spreadsheets, et cetera, is just gone. And through an integration to BusyBusy, we've made this really the most seamless way you can operate incentive compensation in the market. The really transparent moment that I want to emphasize is to get your workers. And if you were trying to go down this road, you've been down this road, it's not really the system is the key. Is this transparent moment is when the workers see the budget as their money. Right now, in reality, when your workers go to the job site and they're spending your time to finish a job, they view that as your money, as the company's money. They don't care as much about your money. It's not their money, it's your money, and it's just not as important to them. When you get the budget in their hands and you gamify this down, you communicate this down to guys, this is your money. I'm going to pay you this money, but you finish this job ahead of schedule, you keep more of it. You can make more per hour. And so by getting it into their head that this is their dollars that they're spending, their behavior begins to change. And that's what we're after. We're after a behavior shift at the workplace that gets the team in the field to think differently about the job. When they start to think differently, they start to act differently, they start to communicate different, they start to focus on quality more. That's when you really get the incentive compensation doing what we want. So really, excited about how the system is seamless with the integration to BusyBusy and how the workers in the field can understand their personal financial benefit for beating those budgets that you've set for that job. Now, it's
One
important to
one
understand. Go ahead.
sorry, I
Yeah.
was gonna say one cool thing that we've seen on our side as we've worked with Protiv is that it seems to work regardless of the size of organization. We've had companies that have had 6 employees who are like, hey, like we need this integration, we need this hooked up because we're using Protiv. And then we've had companies 20 employees, 50 employees, 75 employees
Yeah.
and up. Where I think that is like it's worth noting that I think sometimes companies think that they might not be at a size where they need something like this, but so far what we're seeing on our end is it's really a good fit whether you have 5 employees or 50.
We have clients on it today that have 4 workers, and we have clients that have 1,000 employees plus. So in some ways, we don't really care what the industry or the size of your team is. The important part is if you have hourly workers, you're a self-performing contractor, and you've got a budget that you want to beat, we can help with that. And again, this idea is we want to make the worker in the field, that team in the field, take some ownership and internal kind of commitment to that target. And when they're doing that, then we're in a good space as a contractor. So our feeling is if you've got a small maintenance company, you're doing landscaping, for example, you're doing mowing 20 lawns a day, at the end of that week, I still want them to finish that set of lawns ahead of schedule. I want them to be productive. I want them to do it right so they don't have to do rework. And I want to motivate them to do that. If you're building a road through Saskatchewan and you've got 600 employees over the next 3 years on that project, then you have phases and milestones along the way that are critical. I tend to find that time and materials projects it's not beneficial to run those to the software, but about everything else that we've run into, there's usually a way to optimize the platform to meet those needs. You can look at this as an architecture on which you can build an incentive system. So while we're showing some features and versions of this today and a kind of brief examples here, the platform itself is really flexible as to how you want to configure the incentive system to meet your needs. So do you want to pay bonuses in phases? Do you want to have them where you're splitting a bonus pool with your workers? Do you want to incentivize your crew leads differently? How you want to configure it based on whether you've got a 20-minute job or a 20-month job is pretty dynamic.
Got it.
A big part of the platform is the calculator, and the team visibility to their potential is central to its operation of the platform. We found that this is kind of the thing that really separates it from just trying to do this in Excel. Not only is it just simpler, but the calculator is something that the team owns. The crew leader can talk about it. The workers can see their personal opportunity to earn more. And when they view it through that lens, it's where we get that behavior change starting to stick. The software itself, from an operating standpoint, in fact, Ryan, you shared this with me the other day, and I think I am going to steal it a bit, that this is a lot different than starting to install a software system. Our entire implementation for this whole platform is 45 minutes to an hour. There is nothing complex about starting this system. So we're really, what you're going to see here today is all of about a 1 hour from starting to launch of the program and using it the next day with your company. But the software itself, when you go through it, you create propays. Again, this should be coming automatically out of whatever platform you're using today to manage your budgets. You'll have a target budget that you have in the system of hours and or dollars that you've estimated. That propay amount you send to the team can be the full budget or a percentage of the budget, depending on what you want to do. The team in the field can set their own goals with the software using the mobile version of the calculator that allows them to think, when do they believe they can get it done? And if they finish the job ahead of schedule, if they're along the way, they can say, how are we trending? What's our percent complete? What's that going to mean to us financially if we stay on this track? Importantly, bonuses are not paid until jobs are approved for quality. And the reality is quality levels actually go up on this because the team doesn't want to go back. And I actually have a carpenter on video that kind of said the quiet part out loud. where his name is Frank, and he said that my approach to quality changed because it cost me too much money to go back, which I always thought was a funny thing because that's what we think as contractors. That's what we think as owners, where it costs us so much to do rework. And once I get the team to feel that, they start to look at quality through a different lens. So it's not just about rushing. In fact, we don't want them to rush. We want them to do really good work efficiently, and that's how we all make more money. Most of the production lift comes from communication and teamwork, not rushing. Change orders will flow through if you have a change in the number of hours. And because, thanks to BusyBusy, we know exactly how many hours each worker has on the job, all of the bonuses are prorated to their participation. So if Jim works 50 hours and Sam works 25, Jim is making more of that incentive than Sam. So administratively, other than making sure the ProPay amount is correct before it goes out to the team, which usually is just taking a quick look at it and then hitting send, and someone needs to go in and approve the bonuses when you're ready. That's it. The rest of the system is non-technical in that respect.
Hey, Michael, a couple of questions. I think you kind of answered two of them, but I think it's worth just pausing, getting some answers here. So Mike had a good question of, we may not have the same workers on the job all the way through. Is that an issue?
Yeah. Well, who does almost, right? And we certainly didn't in our own company, because we tie each worker's hours to the job. If they come on and off that project, they do 4 hours in the morning on one project, maybe they move over to a different location and do 4 hours in the afternoon. We know how many hours went to each project, what we call ProPay. So their bonus is prorated to their participation. And that really is critical because we rarely have the same people on every job all the time, depending on the type of construction work you do and type of services you provide. So that is central to the whole system. If you're just going to send Bob over for 30 minutes to help out with something, you don't have to include that person in the bonus pool. You can exclude them from the bonus system if you wanted, but their time always counts against their overall budget. So it's pretty flexible how you want to operate the platform in that respect.
Awesome. And then Phil had a good question on what's the best way to use this if you've got salary employees? Is it possible to create that a budget with that type of payroll?
So the only place we've seen this work with salary is when you then take their salary and effectively break it down to your 40-hour-a-week rate. And so salary employees definitely take a different level of complexity. Sometimes we've seen salary companies come back and want to do more of a unit-based incentive, which is something that's on our roadmap. And it just kind of depends on what your specific business is and the right way to align that. There's a reason we go down the road of having salary employees sometimes. Just met with a company yesterday that does pest control with and fertilization with salary workers, and they have some targets. And frankly, I don't think that our system was the perfect fit for them. I think they had it pretty well dialed in. But I kind of told them I'm not sure this is the right solution. In other cases where they tend to look at their base salary as simply a hourly rate times 40 hours, that they still want more production and they're willing to pay for that additional production, and there's some real advantages to that, and there's a model to get through to that. We do have to break it down to how many hours. I will share it also comes down to, are you job costing on a per hour basis through BusyBusy? So when they clock into the job at BusyBusy, is that hour of time being job costed back as an hour? So that's one of the things that we would, if you wanted to look at the platform, we would dig into that with you to see where it would work or not.
Awesome.
Good question though.
Last question from Amy is, how do you calculate as you have change orders? And will that push, how does that affect it?
So depending on what operating platform you're using for estimating and operations, when you have a budget change and you set a new target number of dollars or hours for that part of the job or the whole job, that will flow through to us, and it updates the ProPay, which updates the team in the field with a new target number of hours. So some companies focus more on hours, some focus more on dollars. It's the system handles both. So if you said, well, we have 150 hours for this, but we got a change order, and now it's going to be 170 hours or 20 more hours, the team would see the new 170-hour target. They would still know how many hours they've used so far, and it would still track them against the new number. Some companies create, if it's depending on what the change order is, sometimes it's a new pro pay. If like Mrs. Smith says, I decided I want to, add a fence around the backyard along with my new landscape, maybe the fence is simply a standalone different pro pay that has its own budget as separately on the change order. All depends on how it is. But the software certainly accounts for those different variables. Very common.
Awesome.
So a lot of companies, sometimes we get people on that aren't quite sure why they're interested. They want to do this. They're not like, why are we doing this? Why are we tying production to compensation? Our feeling is that it's a culture, it should be a culture thing. You should go into a program like this believing that
Hey, Michael, we lost you in terms of volume. Hey, Michael. Yeah, I can't hear him either. Let's see. How about, hey, Michael, we cannot hear you. Can you hear us? How about now? Nope, I don't think he can hear me. Hello, hello. I can't hear me. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hey, Michael. Cannot hear you still. Hey, Michael, can you hear me? We can't. Yeah, sorry, everybody. Hang tight for 1 second. We'll see if we can't get Michael's audio back here with us. All right, let's take a touch of a detour here. And just to double check, make sure I'm not crazy. Can everybody see my screen at least? Okay, or hear me, I mean.
I can.
And
I
Michael, we have
apologize.
you back. We
That
can hear
was
you
terrible.
again, man. We got it.
That was, yeah. So what I don't want to do is run a software company because clearly I'm very technically challenged. I should stick to contracting, I think.
Eh,
Oh,
all,
goodness.
all good. It's
Holy something.
sometimes Zoom does that to you, man. That's all right. But yeah,
It's funny because in the years past, right, you wanted to talk to a bunch of people, you go get on airplanes and fly around, you complain because the flight was delayed, and you're, 4 hours late to your meeting. Now I just lose everybody for 2 minutes and then get back to it.
eh,
So I think I was kind of talking around the culture side of this.
yes.
And I just want to go deep on this because you need to want to do this. You need to, if you want to go to production-based compensation, it is not a software evolution, it's a culture evolution. So really, really encourage you to kind of think through that as you head down this road and what that means. I was going to show everybody the software itself for just a second too. So people can kind of see exactly. I'll show you an example of a integrated BusyBusy customer. This is actual live client right now, so I won't mess around with their stuff too much, but this is what the platform looks like. This is an actual job that is ongoing here, where they have right now, looks like 39 hours used on a budget of 60 hours for this. I think it's a landscaping company. So right now, if the team can go in and actually use, they have a mobile version of this calculator, and they can basically say, well, we're 80% done with this job. It can tell them kind of what their projected team bonus and individual bonus is for the workers on the project. And they can set goals. How much do we think we can do it by, right? And it'll allow them to adjust how they think they're going to perform and what that means in terms of a bonus. So this is that visibility that we show to the team. They got their budget, they know the amount, both dollars and hours, they know what they've used, and they know what the variance is so far. When this is finished, if there's any money left in this budget, depending on how your company is set up, you're either giving that to the team or splitting it with the team, depending on kind of how you configure your particular project. So when you have a job that's done and it's ready to be paid, it'll look like, oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, let me go back. There we go. Oh, I just clicked on the wrong one again. This one. So when you have a job that's complete, it'll show your budget. It'll show what you spent. Again, all of this time data is being tracked straight out of BusyBusy automatically. It'll show how much money was left. In this case, this particular company basically gives their team whatever money they save. So the team is going to split this $1,100 bonus. So super simple way of operating a bonus program. So the only thing you really have to do is when you have bonuses ready to be approved, you click an approve button, and then there's a report that you run when you're ready to pay bonuses based on your pay period. That it'll calculate what bonuses go on the check. You run this little report for your payroll system. So it does all the calculations for you, including OT differential for if you have overtime on your bonuses. So
I'm assuming that there's a pretty big, like, yeah, because you're talking, and it makes sense that it's a cultural change. And I'm assuming that any concern or like hesitation from an employee from like a culture standpoint of like, like this makes me really nervous. Is this really what we want to do? Has got to just dissolve once they see that bonus come in. That job you just showed, I was looking at that, the top guy, Sergio, worked 100 hours on the job. He's going to make an extra $400.
yeah,
That's got to be super impactful for these guys.
it is. And what we find is that two things cause hesitation with the workers. The first is they think that they're going to make less. Because when you go and talk to a team about, hey, we're going to do a bonus program, we're going to pay you guys different. Their first thought is company's trying to screw me.
and and they're going to take money from me, right? So you have to get through that with nobody. We have a minimum. You have a floor, whatever your base wage is. If you make $20 an hour today, you're still going to make $20 an hour, $50 an hour, whatever your base is still your base. We're not trying to penalize you. We're trying to create an incentive. If you can beat the budget, and then the next thing they want to know is, am I actually going to get the money? And that's why showing it to them on their phone, they feel like it's a real number. That's when they start to get some confidence in that. By the time it hits their paycheck, they're game on. That's why it takes a little bit of time to get this to, kind of, woven into the fabric of your company. But you communicate it. We've got a lot of materials that help with that. The whole platform is English, Spanish. You literally click one button and split the whole system, flops over to Spanish. So we're actually adding a bunch more languages to it. Frankly, most of our workers are Spanish first, so in our own company. And so we kind of start with that a lot of the time. But it is a platform that was engineered around making it clear to the workers what their bonus is for beating our budgets. And that's what we want from the platform, is their visibility to their opportunity. That gets the behavior change. The behavior change helps us as contractors.
And we see this a lot, and we even talk about it a lot, is your A players inside of your business, they love tech and they love visibility. You're never going to have an issue with those employees because they want you to know how much better they are than the other employees, right? Like they want to be able to show, or if you've got a crew that's just like a super crew, they want to know, they want to be able to show everybody like, hey, we're crushing our budget every single job. Where I'm sure that you're seeing that as well, where like the A players inside of the company have got to just be all over this for that reason.
We see they end up making the biggest bonuses when it actually goes to this idea of intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic motivation. You're intrinsically motivated means you're going to go work hard, do a great job no matter what, even if I don't pay you different. Those employees are great. If you can go fill a team up with those folks, more power to you. They're hard to find. That's great. And those are your best workers today, and they'll be your best workers on this system. The goal is to get everybody else to up their game closer to that, right? Because they are extrinsically motivated. They want the money. And some people have tried point systems and things like that. We don't find that those are very powerful in terms of changing behavior. Quarterly bonuses do not change behavior at the job site. Annual bonus, your annual Christmas bonus doesn't do anything for what they do on Tuesday. On Tuesday, if you want them to work different, you need to pay them different on Friday because of what they got done on Tuesday. That's the translation that actually begins to evolve the way they operate, the way they think. And when you can tie that all together, get them to understand it, get it to be clear, make it part of your culture, you're winning.
Awesome. A quick question from Amy. How does it work if they have overtime hours? So getting paid 1.5 times an hour on like a bonus project?
Yeah, so actually this OT differential right here is calculated specifically for that. This is considered to Department of Labor, this is considered a non-discretionary bonus. And if they are paid a bonus in that pay period, their base rate actually adjusts off of that bonus when calculated against overtime. It's not usually a lot of money at the end of the day, but we calculate that for you, include it as OT differential, and that gets added to their bonus amount so you're compliant with the OT rules. So in this works, even we have configured even for California, which can be daily overtime rates, etc. So we've been doing this now. They're very, very, very expensive labor lawyers that helped us configure the way this works, and it's completely compliant with those rules.
Awesome. And as we continue to wrap this up, guys, feel free to chat in any additional questions on Protiv, what it looks like. One thing that I wanted to just show really quick, to go full circle here, is to show on the BusyBusy side really quickly just what it looks like, because what we've showed is the bonus side of how to configure these bonuses, how to show your employees on their app even how they're going to be able to view that bonus and feel that change, because they're able to look at those dollars in real time to know what they're going to make when they complete that job. So to just draw the full circle here, looking at BusyBusy, and I just have my phone screen pulled up here, is I wanted to show how easy it is to have an employee clock time to that job that then pushes that time into the ProPay budget in Protiv to that job, so that you can incentivize your employees on a per project basis. So as an employee, I would just punch the clock in button and we can match whatever a company's doing. So I'm going to select the job I'm on. If you're tracking time to a cost code, great. And I'll just pick one here, say demolition. Heavy equipment, great. Otherwise, we can turn those off. I hit clock in, I'm done. I put my phone away and I go to work. And then same thing, if I need a switch, I know that was a question for Protiv, like what happens if they work on a job for half a day and move to another job? Same thing here. This is where we're going to tag that, is they're going to switch and show the true hours each day for what jobs they were on. And that's what's going to translate over into Protiv. And then as they clock out, they're done for the day. They can answer a couple questions here, injury report, break compliance, especially for our California companies, New York companies. Is my time correct? I'm submitted, I'm done. All that time is going to pull into BusyBusy for payroll, as well as pushing into like your accounting platform. But then on top of that, like we've talked about today, is it's super, super simple to have all of this job costing data push right into Protiv. So they can flip right over to their Protiv app and see, great, what did I do today? And what's my bonus going to be when we finish this job next week?
Yeah, our ProPays are named the same as what's in BusyBusy, same as coming out of your estimating tool. So everything, all your time and job costing is correct. So it all
Yeah.
links together.
Let's see, a couple questions coming in. Phil, yeah, so Phil has a question of, so Protiv does not have a time clock, or
No,
this is set
BusyBusy
up
does.
so you need to use BusyBusy.
Yeah. We actually, the funniest backstory, I think Ryan's heard this before, we actually originally built a time tracking app and we realized we're out of our lane. So we like partners like BusyBusy is much better. They're very good at this and we weren't. So yeah, we use BusyBusy's tool. It is amazing.
Awesome. And then I think there's one other question that I saw pop up. So Amy, yeah, so they would be clocking in, clocking out to a BusyBusy, or if you're using something different and it also can integrate into Protiv, that's what they would be using to then push the time into the Protiv project.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Box, what is that?
That's right. Ouch. Awesome. And then I did see another question come up, and you covered a little bit, but I think it's worth bringing up again. Is what's implementation look like for for Protiv? Amy, I appreciate it.
Amy's going to game. So there you go. So implementation, it really, the first step is setting up your first projects. We do this with you. We actually set up your first ProPays with you on a Zoom call. Again, we take about 45 minutes or so, configure that first couple jobs. What depends on the nature of your company, what all we set up, and it gets out to the team. The biggest part of it is actually the team education. So we've got a bunch of content for your team, but we really push that you get out and talk to your team about this new approach that you're going to take, and get them excited about, hey, it's a chance to make more money. But that implementation process is really kind of light, especially when it's an integrated model like what we have with BusyBusy. There, the time data moving back and forth seamlessly makes it nice and simple.
Yeah, and that's
You got to know the name of the job, how much do you want to spend for the labor, and we'll pull your team data in automatically. All the wage rates come in automatically. So pretty light administratively. If you're spending more than a few minutes a week inside of the platform, probably should dig onto it.
Yeah. And it's the same for BusyBusy. I think sometimes people get worried that it's going to feel, or it's going to be similar to like changing a payroll software or an accounting software where you're talking about a couple months to make a transition versus what it looks like to implement a Protiv. Or Amy, when we help you move over from ClockShark, you're talking about a week. and inside that week, you're talking about an hour, maybe 2 hours spent with a busy rep whose whole job is helping you configure your account. And for your employees, it's gonna take a week, maybe less, for them to transition over. It really is a super simple transition.
Yeah, this is not launching a new accounting system.
Yeah.
And the question on material, Amy, is actually really good. We actually have a couple ideas around how to link material usage to incentives. It's not something we've built yet, but it is definitely on the roadmap to do.
And then another question, Michael, from April. So this is only based on labor hours, not material or anything else.
Right. Yeah, we just focus on the labor hours right now. We have material management of material budgets is on our roadmap, and we would like to tackle that. In fact, I'm open to ideas on how people would like to see that work in real life. We know that that's another need for the industry, and so we're going to tackle that as well. But we haven't built that yet.
Awesome. And a good question from Amy. They have 75 plus employees. And I guess to make sure everyone moves over in spite of or regardless if they have Protiv or not. So to answer that on my end, or I guess I'll even let you answer that, Michael. My guess is that it's everyone who needs a Protiv needs to have an account in Protiv, as well as in your time tracking system. Busy down the road for sure.
Yeah, it's certainly, we don't charge in our world for administrative users, or in fact, we only charge when you're on a ProPay. So in a given month, if you don't have people on something that's a ProPay job, you don't pay for those users in that month. So we try and align the value to what we charge for it, if that makes sense. But yeah, we need time. So no, I don't want to manage 2 times. You just convert over to BusyBusy. You have one-time system, super easy. Yeah.
Got it. That helps me understand, Amy. Yeah, you would do one-time system. So you would not need 2-time systems. BusyBusy would be the time system. Speaking of,
So how much does it cost?
How much does it cost?
You go first.
I'll go first. It's right on our website. We're super transparent on cost. So if you're looking at, we have 2 tiers. We have a pro tier, which is really everything that you're looking for, time tracking wise, GPS wise, scheduling wise. It gets you pretty much everything. That's $10 per employee per month. And then we do have a premium tier, which has a couple additional bells and whistles. But again, it's all of our pricing is posted on the website. We're super transparent with it.
Our platform is $10 a worker a month, so very straightforward. And if you want to try it, we actually let you try it for a month for free and see how it works on a job or 2. If you get some behavior changes among the team, we tend to find that the ROI is exceptional.
Awesome. Okay, I think that gets us pretty well covered. I think we've got all the questions. April, you're exactly right. So BusyBusy is your time tracking, job costing. Protiv is your bonuses. And then to full circle it,
Sure.
all of the data in BusyBusy would integrate into your Sage 100 contractor. So that's Protiv is doing all your bonuses. BusyBusy is doing all of your accounting, payroll, integration stuff on our end.
Yeah. So QuickBooks Sage, we're completely agnostic to what accounting system you use. It's just bonuses that go on their paychecks. It's really it's a simple part on the accounting side from our part.
Yeah. And then QuickBooks Desktop as well. Xero, yeah, we can get everything covered there.
I don't know of any accounting systems we're not fine with. We don't really care.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think this gives us a wrap here. Thanks everyone for being on. And we will send out the recording of this, as well as just information. If you have additional information, please reach out to Michael or myself, and we can help get any additional questions answered. But yeah, we'll give everybody back 15 minutes here and call it a day.
Yeah, it's Michael at Protiv.com. So anybody wants to reach out that way, and happy to share with anybody what we do.
Absolutely. Okay,
Sorry
thanks
for the
guys.
technical problems. Thank you all very much.
Hey, see ya.